For this lesson, I'm working with the 0402 Create a New Title project file. You can find that project file with the media associated with this lesson. Double-click on it to open it in Premiere Pro. Let's create a title using the Graphics workspace. I'm clicking on Graphics at the top of the screen, and just to be on the safe side, I'll click on the Panel menu and choose Reset to Saved Layout. The Essential Graphics panel has two tabs, Browse and Edit. There's not much for us to do in the Edit tab just yet, so let's start in Browse. Here we can see a long list of pre-built graphics that we can choose to incorporate into our sequence. I'm going to take this basic lower third, and I'm going to drag this on top of the clip we have in this sequence. If a dialog pops up advising you to use Typekit to install a missing font, just make sure you're online, put a check in the box to sync from Typekit, and click Sync Fonts. The font will be installed and you'll be ready to go. You'll need to close the project and open it again for the font to display correctly. I'm lining up my playhead so we can see the title as well. Or I can just click on the end of the clip and drag it to make it a little bit longer. Now I'm going to select this graphic by clicking on it just once, and when I do, the Edit tab in the Essential Graphics panel becomes live automatically. I'm going to select the Type tool, and you'll notice that in this workspace, the tools for the timeline have moved up to the top of the screen. And let's edit this text. I'm going to click where it says your name here, and why not? I'll put Maxim Jago. And then let's edit the second line. I'm just going to press Ctrl A, that'll be Command A on macOS, and let's take this travelogue title. You'll notice in the Essential Graphics panel, we've got some pretty standard options for fonts and for a fill color. The fill color is the color of the text that we've got selected. And you'll notice at the top of the Essential Graphics panel, each item is a separate layer on this list. Whichever one is selected is the one you're going to edit with all of the controls in this panel. You'll notice that this T icon for the Type tool has a little tiny triangle at the bottom right-hand corner of it. And that triangle indicates that it's a menu. I'm going to click and hold, and this gives me access to both the Type tool and the vertical Type tool. With that selected, I'll click at the top and I'll type in some text. Now I've typed in the word holidays, but my text is too tall. So let me just press Ctrl or Command A to select all. And under the text category of controls, where my font is, I've got a font size. I'm just going to click and drag on this blue number to make that a bit smaller. There's a slider control to do the same thing right next to it. Now you'll notice in the Tools panel here, I have a pen tool, and if I click and hold under the pen tool, I have a rectangle tool. I'm going to use that to pick out a section of the screen just like this, where my text is. Of course, this new shape appears in the Essential Graphics panel, but it's at the top of the list, which isn't much good to me. I need it under my text, so I'm going to click and drag down until it's at the bottom of the list. Now it's behind my text. I'm going to select that shape layer, as it's called, and I can either give this a fill color by clicking on the color swatch and choosing something, maybe green. I'll click OK. Or I can use this eyedropper. I'm going to click on the eyedropper, and now you can see as I drag around the interface, I'm getting different colors. Let's choose the sky color. You also have the option to add a stroke. I'll just make that a little bit bigger by clicking and dragging on the number here. There we go. And a shadow if you want. There are a number of other controls in the Essential Graphics panel. You'll find that if you select an item, either with the text tool or by going to the selection tool as I am now, you'll see you can click on each item separately. You can experiment by clicking and dragging on the controls. But I'm pretty happy with this as a start, and I'm going to go back to the editing workspace to continue working on my project. You'll notice there's a highlight on this word travelogue because I've got that item selected. I'm going to click on the background layer of the timeline panel to deselect, and I'm ready to carry on editing. It's a good idea to try out several of the templates in the Essential Graphics panel and use them as a starting point for your own designs.